Is our blue planet losing its cool? As we look out over the vast expanse of the ocean, it's hard to imagine that something so immense could be changing. But the signs are all around us. Are oceans really getting bigger? The answer is yes, but it's not as simple as it sounds. The increase in ocean size isn't just about more water. It's about the complex interplay of various factors. Yes, they are, but not in the way a balloon expands when you blow air into it. Instead, it's a more gradual and insidious process, driven by the warming of our planet. Imagine a glass of ice water on a hot day. As the ice melts, the water level in the glass rises. This simple analogy helps us understand a much larger and more complex phenomenon. The ice melts, and the water level in the glass rises. Similarly, as global temperatures increase, ice in the polar regions and glaciers around the world are melting at unprecedented rates. That's kind of what's happening to our oceans. The melting ice contributes to rising sea levels, which can have profound impacts on coastal communities and ecosystems. The Earth is getting warmer, and that's causing glaciers and ice sheets to melt at a faster rate. This accelerated melting is a clear indicator of climate change and its far-reaching effects. All that melted ice has to go somewhere, and that somewhere is the ocean. As the ocean absorbs this additional water, it not only rises but also becomes warmer, further exacerbating the cycle of melting and rising sea levels.
There's another reason why the seas are swelling: thermal expansion. This phenomenon is a direct consequence of the increasing global temperatures. You know how things get bigger when they heat up? This is because heat causes the molecules in a substance to move more vigorously, taking up more space. Well, water does that too. When water heats up, its molecules move faster and spread apart, causing the water to expand. As the Earth's temperature rises, the ocean absorbs some of that heat. This process is crucial because the ocean acts as a massive heat sink, regulating the planet's climate. This causes the water molecules to move faster and spread out, leading to a slight increase in the ocean's volume. The more heat the ocean absorbs, the more it expands. It might not seem like much, but even a small change in the ocean's volume can have a big impact on our planet, especially in coastal areas. Rising sea levels can lead to increased flooding, erosion, and can even threaten the habitats of many marine and coastal species. Understanding thermal expansion and its effects on our oceans is vital. It helps us prepare for and mitigate the impacts of climate change on our coastal communities and ecosystems. Scientists have been keeping a close eye on the oceans, and their measurements show that sea levels are rising steadily. They use satellites and tide gauges to track these significant changes. The data tells us that the oceans are rising at an accelerating rate. This means that the problem is getting worse and more severe over time. Rising sea levels pose a serious threat to people living in coastal communities and on islands. These areas are home to millions of people who depend on the sea for their livelihoods, culture, and way of life. The encroaching waters are not just a physical threat, but also a socio-economic one, disrupting lives and economies. As the oceans rise, these areas are at risk of flooding, erosion, and even disappearing completely. The loss of land means the loss of homes, schools, and entire communities. The impact is felt most acutely by those who have the least resources to adapt or relocate. Imagine entire cities and islands slowly being swallowed by the sea. This isn't a distant future scenario. It's happening now. Coastal cities around the world are already experiencing the effects, with increased flooding and storm surges becoming more frequent and severe. That's the reality facing millions of people around the world. Families are being forced to leave their ancestral homes, and entire cultures are at risk of being lost forever. The emotional and psychological toll is immense as people grapple with the uncertainty of their future. We need to act now to address climate change and protect our planet for future generations. This means reducing our carbon footprint, investing in renewable energy, and supporting communities that are most vulnerable. The time to act is now, before it's too late.